Hi, and welcome to the Restorative Wellness Clinicians Corner, video series exclusively for functional health professionals, where we interview the top experts in the latest research, products, tools, and best practices for getting your clients exceptional results. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited for this episode of the RWS Clinicians Corner. Today, we have Debra Joy with us. And I'm going to read you Deb's formal bio in a moment here, but I really, Deb and I go way back. We have known each other for over 20 years now at this point, and we have been working together on and off for the better part of that time. And Deb is, trying to describe what Deb is and what she does is actually very difficult, because you could throw out terms like leadership coach or performance coach or life coach or somatic therapist, or, there's a lot of terms to describe what she does, but none of it really encapsulates the transformation that she is able to facilitate in the people she works with. And she has been so transformational and integral to my journey. Deb, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you and I worked together even as I was making that transition from like my former life as a CSR consultant into nutrition, health, and wellness. Like, you were one of the people that helped usher me into this whole career. And then every big professional change I have made long before I've been ready to make it, it's been like, Deb, do you have any more room for clients? I need to work with you. And so she is just, her ability to see into your truth and help you. She's never afraid to give you tough love, but always in a way to really allow you to express your most fullest self, and really in the most authentic way. It's so powerful to have somebody that can help you achieve your goals and help you achieve those goals in a way that you're not sacrificing yourself. Mm-hmm. Because what I have seen in this profession, I know a lot of very ambitious people who are doing great things, and I don't think I'm the only one who will admit to sometimes throwing our own selves under the bus in service to our clients, to our business, to our families, to all the other things in life. And so Deb has this really beautiful way of helping you achieve those dreams and also staying true to yourself in the process. So she has so generously offered to come and spend this hour. And for those of you who filled out the questionnaire that we sent out, I know that she spent a good amount of time this afternoon going through it. She's read all of your responses. I can't wait to see what she's going to do here, but there's going to be some live coaching. She's going to give us some great gems. Let me read the formal bio so you hear. So for over 15 years, Deb has been coaching entrepreneurs to achieve more success with way less stress, but working in ways that are unique to them. She has a master's in leadership and training, and it delights her to help people master their lives, finding their own authentic style. Deb played a key role in the early stages of the progressive venture fund, Renewal Partners, which has proven to be a model for other funds. Working closely with the president, she found and assessed progressive businesses to add to their portfolio, created important connections for their companies, and coached CEOs to improve the bottom line while also achieving social and environmental goals, by bringing out the best in themselves and their teams. She was president of Canada's first socially responsible full-service investment firm and co-founder of Canada's largest organic home grocery delivery business. Those of you in Seattle and in Portland, you might remember Spud. They dipped down into the States for a little while. I don't think they're here anymore, but for a little while they were down here in the States. That was that company. She turned underperforming locations into top producers for The Body Shop by inspiring, supporting, and training their staff, introducing innovative new ways to do business, and engaging the community in impactful ways. She co-launched the Social Venture Institute at Hollyhock, which is an annual 4-day intensive for progressive business leaders to share problems, get expert business advice, and learn best practices. She's taught at the Hollyhock Leadership Institute, which is an annual program for nonprofit leaders. And throughout the years, she sat on many boards. She's volunteered, offered advice to a variety of nonprofits and business owners, and recently put out an ebook called The Power of Pleasure.
Oh, that was so interesting. Thanks, Margaret. And yes, I have worked on and off with Margaret for years, and I adore Margaret, and I'd pretty much get behind anything she does. And I'm going to try not to cry, but I really, really care about this business because I've personally been impacted by it so much. Yeah, so I worked on and off with Margaret, and you may find you have clients at times who aren't quite ready for what you offer. And Margaret could probably tell you years ago, I was one of those frustrating people. I dip my toe in and then I go back and I dip my toe in. And I had my own reasons. I was looking a lot at the psychological reasons for my chronic illness. I was looking at trauma reasons. I was sort of doing a combination. And then recently I said, I am willing to throw myself in because I'm getting worse. And I've been working for over a year, I think, with Ellen, who's on our call. And through all the training you guys have, we've been able to find the core of, I'm going to be sure to not use the wrong words, the core of my issue. And I've been able to follow recommendations that are making a profound difference in my life. I have been on and off bedridden for 20 years. I have had everything I could think of, where I would go to talk to a client and I had such brain fog. I think, I don't know who this person is. And I look at their notes and I think nothing is looking familiar to me. Like there was a whole lot of trust and prayer involved in the last 20 years of getting through. So I really would step up for anything you guys need, because I know that you're in a really challenging field. I think you're really brave to go into this field because you have so much misinformation you have to come up against all the time. So many authority figures, saying that you're wrong. And it takes a great deal of courage and passion to do what you're doing. So thank you also so much for the questionnaires. They were great. I went through them and I'm going to work a bit from notes today, which I don't usually do. But I wanted to make sure that what I offer is specific to what you spent your time telling me. So what I'd love you to do is, first of all, check in with how you're feeling. So sometimes to check in with your body can help to close your eyes so you're not distracted by how you think other people are feeling. So go ahead and do that if you want. Just close your eyes. And I'd like you to notice some specific things. Anything about the way you're feeling. And then I'd like you to notice on a scale of 1 to 10, how ready or motivated you feel for whatever is coming, even though you don't know what it is. 1 is, man, I could take it or leave it, and 10 is like, yeah, bring it on. I'm ready. Doesn't matter what the number is. I won't take it personally, but if you want, put it in the chat. So I kind of have a sense of where you're at right now. Good God, you people, you're so motivated. I don't even know what to do with that. That is freaking awesome. Holy shit. 8, 10, 7, 9, 10 exclamation mark. 10. You guys are rocking. I actually noticed that when I was doing your, going off script here, when I was going through your questionnaire, you guys are really positive. Like, even though a lot of you are struggling with stuff, I was so impressed by your self-awareness. And that nobody, 100%, nobody was blaming. Like, no one said the reason I'm not where I want to be is because the marketing sucks, or I don't have this tool or that. You were all like, here's my issue. Here's what I'm not doing. Here's how I'm feeling. So kudos to you guys. I think you are awesome. Okay. So what I'd like you to do now is I'm going to play a little bit of music. So I want you to think about how you were feeling before, whatever sensations you had. I'm going to play some music, and I want you to move as little or as much as you want. So if you're feeling it, get up and move around, because motion is lotion. You might feel better. If you're not feeling it, you might just move your head, and you may just close your eyes and imagine you're moving. So honestly, whatever works for you, do that now. We're just going to do like about a minute. Yeah, okay. So just move.
Woke up past 8 today, my neighbor paid my meter. My boss gave me a raise, didn't even say the reason. There's kindness in the air, it takes me where I'm going. I think I'm happy and I know it, All these things keep going my way. I got a big old smile all over my face. Don't know why, but it keeps getting better, 'cause it's the best day ever. The best day, it's the the best day ever. Best friends from out of town showed up in a stretch limo. The weather's perfect out, I'm rolling down the window. We got more.
And I want you to just notice anything that's different. You know how your body felt before? How does it feel now? And on that scale, awesome, want to dance, energized, uplifted, groovy, so much better, free. Fine, you guys, you already felt great. This is so fun. Goosebumps, happy, love to dance. Oh, you guys are great. Okay, that was really fun. Okay, so I did that not just because in my alternative life, I'm a DJ who makes cupcakes, which I would love to be, but I never have. And I love dancing. I did it because I looked a lot about how you guys are feeling right now. So I wanted to talk about feelings because feelings create actions, actions create feelings, those actions create feelings create more actions. And so if we can align how you feel with the actions you want to take to get the results you want to get, I think we can make a big difference in your business. So in your results, I'm going to read some things and I want you to think of it as, even though it's all anonymous, right? I don't know who wrote what, it doesn't matter. But as I'm reading it, you might hear something you wrote. I don't want you to feel judged or bad about yourself if something isn't what you think it should be. Think of it like when you're reading a GI map test or blood result to your client, it's just information. And without this information, we don't know where to go. So I'm just going to share information. So as a group, we can know where to go. And if you hear something that's specific to you, you know where to go. Make sense? Good. Okay, great. So when I looked at your results, 74% of you had a clear image of what success would look like in your business, which was very cool. And what was interesting is for those of you who had a clear image, I asked you how you feel about your business, and you said things like super excited, blissed out, peaceful, joyful, energized, confident, fulfilled, and challenged. Sort of a lot of like dancing. Some of you also said like excited and afraid, confident and overwhelmed. So there was mixed feelings a couple of times, but mostly it was like, bam, you felt great. So 26% of you had no clear image of what success would look like. And the results of how you felt were really different. When you think about your business, you would feel sad, anxious, overwhelmed, scared, and unsure. So I thought that was really interesting. Like, I hadn't planned what I was going to talk about today, but I thought, let's start with this, because if you are trying to launch a business and you're feeling this way, it's pretty tricky. And if you're trying to get to the next level and you're feeling scared, anxious, overwhelmed, that's going to have a big effect, not just on your results, but your experience of getting those results. It's going to be so much harder. So the next question I asked was, do you have a plan for your business? And one person said yes. No one else said yes. That's fine. You don't have to. You'll find it while you might want to. And when I said, do you know what the next step is to take in your business? Most people said no, and most people aren't taking that step. So even though most of you have a vision of where you want to go, almost no one has a plan of how to get there. And if you have a murky plan, most of you don't know what's next. And even if you do know what's next, some of you said, yes, I know what's next, I'm not getting there. And I think it circles back to feelings, right? Like if you can get yourself in the right feeling state, you will want to take the next step. If you're taking those next steps individually, simple steps, you will keep fueling yourself to feel better, right? So research says that the happiest people are people working on a goal, right? It does not say the happiest people are those who've achieved a goal, which is kind of interesting because people who've achieved a goal, you get like, that was awesome. Okay, what's next? Right? Like you see people who it's all about getting married, getting the wedding done, walking down the aisle. It is a day of bliss. And a couple of years later, it's like, they're in the relationship and it's day to day and whatever. Maybe they're happy, but they've got another goal. When you're working towards a goal, the reason you feel good is dopamine, right? Dopamine is not the sense of satisfaction of like, oh, life is great. It's just all good. It's the anticipation of something great. It's working on something that fuels you, something outside yourself you want to achieve. It can be the anticipation of making lunch, right? You're hungry and you're making lunch. That's dopamine that gets you off the couch to go get it. Or it could be changing the world. So when you're working on a goal, it actually feels great if you're doing it in a certain way. So there's always going to be that dopamine rise, which is helpful. But there's research now out by Harvard that really backs up the whole dark side of goal setting, that if you stay focused on the result, and that's all you're doing is staying focused on the result, what can happen is you get kind of a tunnel vision. It's all about getting there. And when that happens, it can affect your health, as Margaret said. And I got to tell you, I was the poster child of don't do it like Debra. Like, I wanted to save the planet. I just saw like climate change was the issue for me, and I was all about it. I completely burned out because all I could see was like, I have to help people. I have to help, create habitat. That was it for me. So if you're focused on results only, you risk your health. You also risk relationships. So how many of you might think, I really want to build a big business for my family. It's all about my family. I want my family to feel good. But in your pursuit of the business, you're kind of ignoring your family day to day or missing out on things because it's all about your result. So when you have this focus on a result, no matter how great it is, but you're struggling to get there, I call it the gap. You're living in the gap. There's the where I want to be. I know how that's going to feel. I know how great it's going to be. And how I feel now kind of sucks. So I'm going to read a few of the things so 76% of you, 74% of you have a really good goal. You're clear on what you want it to look like. But when you look at your current feeling about your business and yourself, most of you said these things. Makes me feel like I've wasted time and money. I feel terrible. I feel doubtful, feel fearful, uncertain. I feel overwhelmed. I feel pretty low and disheartened, tired, directionless, like I need to get my shit together. I feel a bit defeated before I've really begun. I feel rejected and unqualified. That made me so sad because I think the work you do is so important and so needed. And what happens in my work, and I don't know if we have men on this call, but primarily with women, is we are so hard on ourselves. We think we need to be great to everybody and doing it all and healing the world. And we constantly beat ourselves up for not being a perfect image of whatever it is. Perfect businesswoman, really sexy, great mom, beautiful daughter, wonderful friend. We have all these internal judges going on. And what happens is when you're self-critical, that automatically stimulates your sympathetic nervous system. You're saying bad stuff about yourself, your body goes into fight or flight. Or it could even stimulate your dorsal vagus, which means you'd go into overwhelm and collapse. Either way, you can't actually access what you need to grow, to learn, and to engage with other people. So just that those self-critical thoughts are stopping you from attracting the business you want to attract, from growing your business the way you want to grow it, from really being the person you want to be. So that's all of the information. What do we do about it? I'd love to take you guys through a process, but I feel like I've just talked at you for a while. So I just want to know if anyone wants anything clarified right now.
Feel free to pop it in the chat if you want to put it there, or if you want to ask Deb a question directly, just unmute yourself and ask. Well, we've got 77 people here, so maybe put up your hand.
Oh.
The way you can do that is click on reactions, and one of the options there is raise hand. So if you'd like to just ask a question that way, you can, or you can pop it into chat. And I think it'd be really interesting to hear, like, how is this landing for you? Even if you don't have a question, like, how is this resonating? I'll share for myself that, the self-critical stuff. I mean, that is, I'll tell you a funny story as you're thinking about this, your reflections. But my husband, when he and I first met, a very dear friend of mine was very protective of me. And I'd had some previous relationships, let's just say, and none of them had worked out. And my friend came over to meet James, who is now my husband, and was very skeptical of, like, is this like just another guy on the list? And he asked, what is the thing that you would change about Margaret? He actually came with a flip chart of questions. It was really funny. Deb, you know him as Cameron Hughes. One of his questions was, what would you change about Margaret? And James said then, and he has reminded me as recently as this weekend, that this is still the thing he would change about me, which is that I'm just so hard on myself. So I just want to say that I feel like that is so universal. And I think that that can be a thing that, like, lights a fire under us, but it can also be, how did I say it to James this weekend? We want it to be the thing that it adds, like, is the incentive, not the bat that we beat ourselves with. Right. So anyhow, anyone else is any of this resonating with you? Anything you want to share? Barbara says, it's so helpful for me to hear that there are others that feel like I do about their businesses and building their business. 100%. 100%. I think it's rare for people to not experience that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Martha, want to unmute yourself?
Hello there. This is crazy to here I am jumping in to go first.
Yay, you.
This what I have learned through restorative wellness solutions has been such an enormous game changer for me personally. I am coming from a pretty dramatic car collision, brain injury. I lost a daughter in the course of events, multiple injuries that just whacked my metabolism up one side and down the other, not let alone the brain. And while I was healing from other physical injuries, the metabolic health and the brain health were just in a stasis that I couldn't budge. And what I've learned through restorative wellness solutions, all 4 levels, have been a huge game changer. Really opened up so many avenues for me to do my own self-healing. And this has further cemented my dedication to having a business that I can help other people who have had similar adventures in their life. And I call it adventures. Mm-hmm. My car collision was not an accident. The other driver fully intended to do what she did. And I call it the Flying Ford Explorer adventure. So with that perspective, I have my strengths and my weaknesses coming into, trying to get a business rolling. Mm-hmm. And business sense is not one of my strengths. And bottom line, my confidence to have the right thing to say on the tip of my tongue with a client in the moment. I feel like I need to have my materials handy to consult and scramble through the pages to find the right thing to say. And that just keeps me overwhelmed and stymied from taking the next baby step and the next baby step.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Martha. You are uniquely qualified to work with some clients who will have been through some pretty big traumas because you can relate it to your own life. And I have lived most of my life with huge insecurities, just huge, that would stop me, or at least stop me from enjoying something. You know, I'd be in a process, I'm talking on TV or something, but shaking the whole time thinking, God, I hope this ends soon. And what's really helped me is realizing that's all ego. And ego is important. Ego is what makes me like take a shower and brush my teeth so I'm not offensive to the world. And so there's a sense of belonging, like, you know, thank God for our ego. We feed ourselves. And it's real. It's that fear of being kicked out of the tribe is what, you know, that ego fear. What helps me 100% of the time is to go, okay, my ego's there. I'm really afraid, but what would love have me do? Mm-hmm. Right? And love would have me show up and fail miserably in the attempt to help another person. And not that I want you to just be failing your way through business, but the truth is you're going to. You are going to fail so much no matter what level of business you're at. And it will get less and less until you plateau. And then you're going to want to take another jump. And it'll be so freaking uncomfortable because you'll be failing again. Because every time you take on new shit, you don't know what you're doing. So you're just going to fail. And so the more you can even preface that with your clients, the more real you become to them and say, you know what, I'm probably going to stumble over my words. I'm going to get things wrong, but I am fully committed to your journey of health. And, you know, one thing that I started working with a marketing person for a course I created because I've never marketed my business and it's not my thing. And she did a great educational piece with me up front. She said, marketing is about testing and adjusting. And I was like, I thought she was just going to do it and get it right. But by telling me that up front, I bought into the journey of her testing and we find out things are wrong and making a difference. So hopefully that helps. It's just like, be real and let people know that you don't have all the answers up front and what you'll be doing to get the answers. Because the cool thing is, you guys have this whole community to draw from, right? You're not working alone in a silo, even though you're individual practitioners mostly. You have this amazing support system. So I would dig into that as much as you can.
Okay. Thank you. That is pretty, you know, is when you hear the truth that it sinks right in. It's like, oh, yes, of course. Duh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's a really, you know, it's interesting because you're speaking ultimately to confidence, right? And Courtney has a question here. She says, definitely resonates. And I feel that there's a bit of a chicken and egg. Being more accepting of myself and my skills leads to more success and better service to clients, but it's still a struggle. And I think these things relate because there is a chicken and egg because we feel we don't have the confidence because we really want to get it right. But the only way to get the confidence is to actually get out there and do it. And there's this concept of fail faster, which when you were talking about get out there and failing, because you will make mistakes. It's part of the process. And the only way to build that confidence, I mean, you can learn all the things, all of the most amazing tools in the world until you have actually done it and just practiced it. And that just means actually doing the work with clients and it doesn't land in. So I think this chicken and egg piece it's reinforcing and we can reinforce in the direction of I'm nervous, but I love that, Deb. What would love do? And letting that be the reinforcing wheel, the chicken and egg spinning in that direction versus the fear wheel that kind of spins us into the other direction of paralysis and not taking action. That's really cool.
Cool. And that I felt that from you, Martha, like you're doing this because it was profound for you and love is for you. So in the course, I have people find their own guiding question and that just happens to be mine. So it was there for me, but you can find a question inside you that's guiding you, right? Why are you doing this? And come back to that. Am I willing to fail for that? Right? Okay. So the chicken and egg thing, I will get to that. Yes, absolutely. We are so good at beating ourselves up, right? About finding what's wrong. And to have a long-term goal, to have a big goal that's off in the future, you need to stay motivated through all of the failures. And one of the things that's going to help is a feeling of safety. If you don't feel safe in your nervous system, you will stop yourself from taking risks and failing. So yeah, you want to be challenging yourself, you want to be pushing yourself, but not way past the point that's no longer authentic for you. So it matters that you actually find what feels safe to you. And we can talk more about that a little bit at the end. And I'm happy to come back anytime and help you guys, because what you're doing matters so much. So what I want to do is take you through a guided meditation. Now, I get that we don't all see things when I say guided meditation, so don't worry. You might hear something, you might feel something, you might know something, and you don't even know why you know it. And you might get nothing. And all of that's okay, because we're going to sort of prime the pump. You might have a dream tonight that gives you an answer. You might feel something in the next few days. So don't put any pressure on yourself, okay? The meditation is going to be tapping into that idea you have of what your business would be like if it was really as successful as you want it to be. Now, if you're feeling far from that right now, that might feel like way too big a stretch. And so I don't want you to feel you have to go there. If that is not where you're at right now, what I want you to do, I want you to think of a time when you were successful. And if you're having a really rough day today, that might be, I got my kids out the door to school on time without beating anybody. Whatever it is, like if you did something like, yes, I accomplished that, tap into that. Okay. So whatever it is you're going to do, I'm not going to ask you to compare them. Just do what's right for you. And what matters in this meditation while you're doing it, I'd like you to do whatever you need to do to feel safe. So if you want to close your video for this, that's okay. Whatever it is that makes you feel comfortable. So I'm going to invite you to first close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I'd like you to feel whatever you're sitting on. And I want you to notice that it's supporting you. And with your next couple of exhales, let your body settle into that support. And just notice what it feels like to be supported right now. And with that feeling, I want you to imagine there's a big screen out in front of you. And on that screen, you're seeing an image, a motion picture, and it's the motion picture of you in your successful business, or you having done whatever it was in the past that made you feel successful. And I want you to adjust the color contrast so it is bright and crisp and you really see everything clearly. I want you to adjust the sound so you hear everything going on in this scene. And now pay particular attention to what you're doing. What's your body posture? What are you wearing? How are you moving? What's the expression on your face? And now I want you to imagine you get up from where you're sitting right now and you take all the steps needed to be standing right in front of that screen. And now step into it and step right into your body. And I want you to feel what it's like to be you at that moment. What's that body posture like from inside? And I want you to say a couple of words that describe how you feel and be as specific as you can. So rather than I feel good, maybe I feel expansive or tingly. Maybe I feel grounded, strong. Just notice what it is for you. And now I'd like you to put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And I want you to feel those sensations moving in your body between your hands. And you're not forcing it, you're just allowing it. You're kind of creating a container for those feelings. And now take the hand that's on your chest, and I want you to put it lightly on the top of your head. So you're expanding the container for those feelings. Let them fill all the cells in your body from your head to your belly. And move your belly hand to your knee. So you're expanding that container even more. And now use the floor as the base of that container to allow those feelings to fill your entire body. And when you're ready, I just want keep your eyes closed and let your hands relax. And now feeling these feelings, I'd like you to bring to mind your current life reality. And I want you to think of one thing you could do every day that would support you feeling like this, even if it's just for a minute. What's one thing you could do? You don't have to share it, just come up with it yourself. And since many of us are overachievers, I'd like you to now simplify that thing. It may be a little more than you can actually fit into your day. So how could you take that and make it even simpler? And it doesn't have to have anything to do with your business. It might be kissing your dog on her nose. And is there any way you could simplify it anymore so that you could do this every day, no matter what? And if you picture yourself doing this every day, I now want to know what's one step you could take towards achieving the business you want? From where you are now, what would get you one step closer? Maybe it's something you'll do daily or weekly, or maybe it's just something you'll do once. And when you feel you have that, I encourage you to just open your eyes. And I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you to have pen and paper, but if you can grab it, I'd like you to write down what those feelings were, what that super simple daily practice is, and what the step is you could take towards your business. Repeat the three things. What were the feelings you had when I first had you tap into that image? What feelings did you get? Write those down. Second, what's the thing you could do every day that would support you feeling that way for even just a minute? And third, what's a step you could take to get you closer to your business? And then I want you to answer this question for yourself. Would you be willing to commit to doing those between now and the end of the year? We've got about 34 days left until this year, 34, 33, something like that. Would you be willing daily to tap into those sensations? And would you be willing to do that next step that would get you to your business? You may not, and you may not for really good reasons. Some people wrote you can't work on your business right now because you have health issues, or you're in school for something else, or so you can't do everything at once. So if your honest answer is no, that is a totally legit answer. If your answer is that you're willing to commit, that's great too. The reason I want you tapping into those feelings comes back to the gap, right? So when you have an idea of the business you want to create, the only reason you have that goal or any other goal is because of the way you think it will make you feel to achieve it, right? Either satisfying hunger or having sex or having more money. It creates a feeling inside you. And the more out of resonance you are with that feeling, the way harder it gets to achieve it. So we're all energy vibrating all the time, right? Everything in the universe is energy, and energy vibrates. And there's something called sympathetic resonance. So when something's vibrating at a certain vibration, things around it that are of a similar vibration will start to vibrate as well and meet it. So if you are living in alignment with the way you want to feel when your business is successful, not only are you going to feel better going after your business goals, you're more likely going to attract the clients who are ready to meet you there. It sounds sort of woo-woo, but it actually makes sense. You can see this with tuning forks. If you have a tuning fork, two tuning forks, and you smack one and it starts to vibrate, the other one is going to start to vibrate at exactly the same resonance. That's what we're doing as people and animals all the time. We are feeling each other's nervous systems and emotions and facial expression all the time. So getting into that vibe every day of being in alignment with your goal is going to help you. The other is just taking action, right? And so somebody said, chicken and egg, right? So here's the chicken and egg part is you are going to feel good if you take action. It's going to create confidence in you, even if the action is not getting all the way to your goal, right? No matter how far you are from your goal. And here's something that will prove it. Remember I mentioned one person has a plan? Okay. The person with the plan is the only person who had a positive result to every question I asked. So how are you, do you have an image of your business? And how do you feel when you think about it? I feel confident and excited. Do you have a plan for success? Yes. Do you know what steps to take? Yes. Are you taking them? Yes. What obstacles do you have? I don't feel like I have any. I'm just steadily moving towards my goal. I'm just not there yet. This is interesting. How are you addressing those? And this person said, since I need more time to work on my business, I've backed off taking new clients. Okay, when you know what your goal is, okay, we'll come back to this. So I'm not good at reading this stuff. When you know what your goal is and you have a plan, it gets so much easier to say no to the things that are getting in the way, right? You have to make hard decisions sometimes. And when you're clear, you'll be able to decide easier. How do you feel about your current state of your business and your practice and yourself as a practitioner? Excited. Now, when I ask you guys where you are in comparison to where you want your business to be out of 10, this person is at 2. Doesn't this sound like someone who's at 7? Right? It's amazing. You think, oh man, this girl, oh, sorry, could be a woman, could be a man, could be someone non-binary, I don't know, but they're at 2. So doing what they said they would do daily and having a plan is actually giving them motivation to feel good about themselves, which is totally keeping them on track. So I would love, it happens to be nice timing. I just checked with Margaret. December 6th, Margaret is doing a workshop on business planning. Mm-hmm. So another commitment you can make is to register for, sign up for, attend, or watch later that workshop. It will help you. And here's something to keep in mind. Margaret is different from you, right? So she's going to teach a whole planning thing that you might go, oh, that wouldn't work for me. I want you to watch it with the intention of picking up what would work for you. She's going to be teaching maybe some specifics that aren't for you, but there will be principles in it. I've never seen the program, but I just know, Margaret, that you can pick up and use in your business with your life and your circumstance. So do that. The other thing that happens sometimes is you get really, really, really excited about your goal and you feel so far from it that you are heavy and weighed down, like these things that I mentioned. And sometimes that the reason is the goal's not actually right for you right now. I've had that experience where I had a goal for my business and I was killing it. It was great. I was barely working. I was helping so many people and making great money. Then I worked with a business coach who gave me, really literally said, your goal's too small. Here's your goal. I changed my goal and everything just collapsed on me. I worked harder. I was less successful. I wasn't having fun anymore. So I want you to actually get really clear as soon as you can. Is your goal right for you? So I take my clients through a process like this, and I have a master class that's free that you guys can do. And I would say, go do it as soon as you can. It will take you through a process that will be unique to you. And you can apply it to anything, to weight loss, to finances, but specifically right now to your business. I think would really, really help you to sort of get lined up with it and know that it's right for you. What else do I want to tell you?
And I want to, there's a couple of people who had a comment, and I want to just circle back to it because I am going to guarantee that a lot of people feel this way. And it comes back to this idea of being uncomfortable failing in front of a client. Therese says, I feel a lot of pressure around getting things right because my clients pay a lot of money for me to be right. I don't feel like I can fail. And I am going to put money on it that like the vast majority of folks here on this call are thinking the same kind of thing, thinking like, well, failing in like marketing is one thing, but failing a client can feel like, you know, their health is on the line. The work we do is so important. We really, and we care so passionately about our clients' health. We want to help them get better. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. First is, I think this is first. Are you charging an amount that's authentic for you? Are you charging an amount you think you should be charging? That might be like the coach I had who told me my goal was too small. So if you are constantly feeling like, oh God, I don't know if I deserve that. I don't know if I'm ready for that. You may be charging more than you're actually aligned with, which I think is super important. And you may just need to do some work to get some old unconscious beliefs out of the way. You may need to do some training. Like sometimes that fear is a real message. I was working with a producer who she's married to a TV star and she has a project where she works with other stars, and she was potentially going to be running into this very big star. And she was nervous. I'm like, why are you nervous? You do this all the time. When we got clear on it, she was nervous because the project she had involved him in, she had not done enough of her homework, that if he asked her about it, she'd be ready. So that fear may actually unearth some more work you need to do. You know, maybe there's some more prep you need to do. Maybe that number for you is what you think you should be charging, but it's not really aligned with who you are right now. And then the other, I'd go back to this marketing person of, educate your people a little more upfront that it is a journey, right? That your body is really specific, and I'm going to have to test some things with you to see what works and keep refining because you're super unique. And that's what's unique about the approach I'm going to take. So you want to not sell it, you want to really educate them that that's a benefit of this. It's not, here's your drug, bang. If I listened to my doctors, I would be on statins. Right? But because I work with a restorative wellness person, I know, oh, that's not the issue. Let's look at this. Here's what I can do. So we're used to the other model, which is like top-down authority. Here's what's right for you. If you can educate someone that we're doing this together, that could help. So I'd say it's one of those two things or both. And if you need to ask more about that, we can. If I go over time, I'm happy to answer stuff afterwards by email.
Awesome.
Okay. Do you want me to read these notes and answer them? Is that what I should be doing?
Or do you have other things that you wanted to make sure you either process or other things you want to make sure that you cover? So we can do either. There's definitely some questions here. We can dive into those questions and support individuals, or if you have other things you want to make sure you shared. And then I want to make sure we get links and all that kind of stuff. We will include, of course, all of this in the replay email that we send, but it would be great. I'm sure there's people who want the link to the free masterclass right away. So I'll make sure we grab that for you and I'll put it in the chat before we go. But
okay, great. Thanks. So you have decided for yourself if you're going to commit to getting in line, like lining up with that 5, and if you're going to take the next step. Now you will increase the odds of being successful by about 80% if you become accountable to someone. So I would love for you guys to pick an accountability partner. Either like go into your Facebook group and find somebody, or do it here if you want. Ideally, like the people share, like it's not just a one-way street, but you're picking each other. And let that person know, here's what I'm committing to, whether it be daily or weekly, whatever. I'm going to go to Margaret's workshop, you say that. If you're going to watch the masterclass, you do that. And all you do is text or email every day that you did what you said you're going to do. You will be far more successful. That is going to increase your dopamine. That is going to make you more motivated to keep going. And you might be thinking like, okay, I picked something embarrassingly small. Like there's no way this is going to get me to my business. But habits cue other habits, right? So, okay, I'll pick something like I am not very strong because I haven't been able to really be out of bed that much for years and years. I want to get strong again. So a while ago, I thought I'm going to do 4 squats when I brush my teeth. 4 is not going to get me very strong over time. But, I do 4, and then sometimes I do 50, and sometimes I do 90 because habits beget habits. So if you get going with these and you're accountable to someone, you are far more likely to find that you're doing more and more and more good. And I can tell you the quality of your habits, pretty much more than anything else, will determine the quality of your life. So way beyond your business, you can be happy. You can feel more successful by doing what you say you're going to do, no matter how small it is. It's just going to set you up for success. Because what we do all the time, our brains go looking for all the things we didn't do. So anytime you can say to another human, I said I was going to do it and I did it, you are just rewiring your brain for good.
I just need to, okay, first of all, thank you, Deb. You could not have queued up what I'm going to be doing in next week's business planning workshop any better. This is brilliant. We are going to be, as one of the key things at the end, is we're going to really break it down into those habits. I believe so firmly that success is a cumulative effect of habits. I feel like that is one of the things, when people who look at me and say that I have had some success, to me, it's 100% layering in the habits so that you do the things. Like you don't wake up in the morning and wonder and have a debate with yourself about whether you're going to brush your teeth or not, right? You just do it. And so the things that drive your business, the more that they are things that just set you up for success. Like I give you an example. In my day, every night, I never go to sleep before having mapped out what I'm going to do the next day, which means the next day, I'm not wondering what to do. I'm just executing, right? I've done the thinking before, and I've also done it before bed, which means that as I sleep, if there's any kind of do that needs to happen, my brain is doing its work so that when I wake up, there's often either new ideas or maybe some new problems have arisen, but that's perfect because I need to address them, whatever it is, that's a habit. The accountability piece is so important. 5 or 6 years ago, I was at a Brendan Burchard event. I'm sure some of you know him. He's a big, like business performance, high performance coach. And he, at one point, he said, I want you to pick somebody here. He gave us the same challenge that Deb just gave you. And he said, pick somebody, and I want this to be your accountability person. And you can structure it. He basically gave the exact same instructions that Deb just gave you. And I met this woman who is a coach. Actually, at the time she was living in Vancouver, and we just really resonated. And I will tell you what, we have been sending each other voice note daily intentions for, I don't even know how long it's been, 5 or 6 years, every single weekday for that time. And it has been phenomenal accountability to be able, and it's accountability in terms of being able to say, I did this, but it's also accountability in terms of your journey is witnessed. And if you do this, we barely knew each other. And now she's one of my closest people, simply because we have witnessed each other's dips and curves and highs and lows and all of the journey that happens in life and in business in a 1 to 2 minute voice note that we send each other every morning. So I cannot sort of back up what Deb is saying anymore. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
We really didn't plan that. Like I emailed Margaret just before this and said, are you doing anything on planning? These guys need some planning. Because yeah, we are. So I just thought like you need this, and it just happens to be coming. So that's quite great news. Some of you might be thinking, or you might think later, I don't have time. And that could be legit if there's something else that's actually pulling you. But I just want to say, so many entrepreneurs think they're working way more than they are because they're thinking about the work they need to do. They're thinking, oh, I should be doing that. They are procrastinating and feeling guilty. And your brain uses most of the energy in your body. So your brain is sucking up so much energy thinking about doing it that if you'll carve a couple minutes out to do the things you commit to, you will free up so much brain space. It will be amazingly liberating to just carve out a bit of time, the minimum. I'm so big on undercommit and over-deliver. Set yourself up for success. If really the only thing you can do is like a 1-minute practice is going to help you feel those good feelings you felt, just commit to that. And then tell your accountability partner that's what you're committing to. And if they commit to the whole thing I just recommended, please don't compare yourself. You don't know what's going on in their life. Like Margaret lives with a very full schedule and that totally works for her. I got so much white space in my life because that's what works for me. If I compare myself to Margaret, I would feel like a turd. But if I just look at my life, I'm like, I freaking love my life. I want to be me, right? So don't compare even to your accountability partner.
Such important advice. Such great advice. We only have a couple of minutes left. I want to just take a look in here and see if there's any other burning questions that I want to make sure. Carolyn, actually, this is a clarification. So let's do this and then let's let people know how they can get more Deb. Carolyn says that can you just repeat that sentence about the sympathetic resonance if you are living in alignment with ...
Yes. Okay, great. So it's not even in alignment. So we are cells that are vibrating. We are energy that's vibrating. Everything in the universe is vibrating. Sympathetic resonance is when things start to vibrate together. Similar things. So if you have a tuning fork that's say in A and you bang it and it's vibrating A, I don't actually know what A sounds like. Another tuning fork that's A could be still. It wasn't hit at all. It will start to vibrate. That's what sympathetic resonance is. They're resonating together, right? So there's also discordance, right? Things can feel really off. We're doing that energetically all the time. Like it could be the sound of my voice, my facial expression, the vibes I'm giving off are really soothing to you and you want to lean in and hear me. But maybe I sound like your mother who you have an issue with. And for no reason that you can understand, you're like, that is not resonance, right? So when you are in alignment with who you imagine yourself to be when you've achieved your goal, and you start feeling those feelings. So that's what I mean by living in alignment. You're feeling it, which is inspiring action, which inspires feelings, which inspires action. You're vibrating at a certain level. You're going to draw to you other people vibrating at that level. So going back to the person who had the question about what they're charging, if that's actually creating a discordant resonance in you, like a discordance of vibration in you. So your mind is saying, I want to charge this package that's $10,000 and your body contracts around it and you feel tight and like, oof, there's something about it, even unconsciously, that's not quite right. Your clients are going to pick up on that vibe. So you will want to do work around getting in resonance with your own goals. Hope that answers it.
Love it. How can people get more Deb?
My website is debrajoy.me. The free masterclass will give you more of me, and I'd love for you to take that. In the new year, I'm going to be launching an online course called The Success Solution, which takes you through all the processes you need to develop habits and overcome unconscious blocks to actually have the success you want to achieve with way less stress.
Do you know off the top of your head the URL for the free masterclass?
I do. ScienceSpiritSuccess.com. Do you want me to type it
in the chat so everybody can see it there? We'll pop it into the, we'll definitely be putting it in the notes as well. Science. So I'll make sure that we get that in the replay. And Deb's also on Instagram. What's your handle there? Just Debra Joy? Just started working with marketing, guys. See,
I'm
you can see she can have great success without without.
I know this is all new to me. Yeah, it's okay. So it is Debra Joy _coach. But I just want to tell a really quick story about resonance. When I was really sick, I thought, I really want to help people. You know, I had really helped people in progressive businesses. And I still wanted to, but I was lying in bed. And I said to a friend, I want to lie in bed, talk on the phone and help people. And I just want them to miraculously find me. And that's pretty much how I built my business. Like, it was very authentic for me. So yeah, it's very new for me to start marketing, but now it feels fun. Before I was completely opposed to it, but I was really aligned with lying in bed and helping people.
Deb, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just it's a little teaser. I wish we could stay here for hours. But well, maybe we can convince you to come back at some point in 2023 and do another little live coaching. So fantastic. This is, you guys really just got a sense of some of the things. This is the kind of work that Deb, when we work together, this is very much the kind of things that we do. I love that song, Best Day Ever. I think that might be my practice, is that we now play that as like background music in the morning when getting the kids all ready for school. Just, we love a good dance party. So that's great.
Good. That's fun. Thanks. Thanks so much for taking the time to do the questionnaires. I know that was like, that it really helped me to actually, give this specifically for you guys. So thanks. Beautiful to see all those faces.
Thank you, everybody. We have lots of good stuff coming up in the next few weeks for the upcoming. So Monday, December 5th, at 4 p.m. Pacific. That's next Monday. We have the research and clinical team from Oxford Biomedical coming to share the latest clinical findings and applications for the MRT. December 6th, as we've just talked about, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do the business planning. And then the following Monday, December 12th, is our final Clinicians Corner of the year. It's Sean Wells, world's top supplement formulator, who is going to go to take us behind the scenes in the supplement industry. So these are not to be missed. Get them on your calendar. Watch your emails, because there's lots of them coming in the next little bit. We got a lot going on. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we will see you very soon.
Ellen.
Take care. Bye, everyone.